Alrighty guys, as you can hear, into the Dragon Ball Legends ToP guide video. This is going to be in regards to ToP Season 69. Last season we did end at rank 2,432, meaning that we did get the top cut title as well. But more importantly, we got that juicy 1000cc, and hopefully you guys did too. Before we move on, there will always be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. So the first thing we will be talking about is our pathing, and it's basically the same spiel that I always give you guys right here. You guys can go ahead and screenshot this. I'll put an Imgur link in the description down below if you guys want to save these images right here, right? The red circled fights are going to be the most important fights because those fights are the most impactful fights for your score, for your overall score, right? Because this game mode does favor a win streak bonus. You get a big win streak bonus every 5th win. So 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, 25th. There's a total of 25 fights overall, right? If you break that win streak, you are going to see a significant loss in points overall. But other than the circled fights, if you guys want to deviate in the blue pathing a bit, I do not mind that at all. Do whatever you think is best for you and for your team setup. Alright, so tips and tricks. We're going to quickly go through this because I say this every single guide video. Get your friendship rank units, or get your units to friendship rank 10, all of them, right? You all want them at friendship rank 10 because it does give you a significant increase to your, maybe not significant, but it does give you a good boost to all of your stats right here. We're looking at Boo Tanks right here. He's at friendship rank 10. Look at his regular stats. You can see that there's a drop right there, right? And so you'll see that this is only for ToP, right? You won't see this in PvP or any other game mode, just for ToP. Just get your roster, your main ToP roster, to friendship rank 10. Easiest way to do this is through the Let's Fight event. You get 3 of these a day. Make sure you guys are doing them. Something that I found incredibly helpful in that friendship rank grind is farming these equips right here, right? This specific equip gives you a 3% bonus to friendship points gained on every single slot for a total of 9%. To get this, you just have to exchange your Z medals, and they do stack. That's why you see that I have that equip on all of my units. So I do have a total of 18 of these equips. If you want to farm your friendship rank in story mode, you can do that. You want to go to part 6. You're going to go book 1 chapter 8. This is the slowest way to do it, and I don't really recommend it. I've done this maybe 2 or 3 times, guys, total. Like in my entire Dragon Ball Legends career, this takes a very long time, but I guess the one benefit here is that you can farm friendship rank for 3 of your units at a time. And so I know a lot of you guys do ask for guidance on ToP equips. You're going to go into the exchange shop, rare metal shop. There's a ToP specific tab right here. You want one of these gold equips, right? It's going to be, there's a condition for it, right? So this is for melee type, this one's going to be for the range type, and there's going to be a defensive, there's going to be support, etc. You want one of those for your units depending on whatever typing that unit is. You want one of these, right? As long as your unit is 7 stars or above. If it's below 7 stars, you're not going to be able to use this, unfortunately. You're going to have to use a silver equip. But this isn't necessarily, what is this, an iron equipment right here? This, because it only has 1 slot, right? I like this one personally. This is usually my 3rd equipment that I use right here because it gives me that boost to health. But these are the alternatives to the explosive clash right here, right? Like this one's for purple. There's some on here for blue, and then I think we go further down and then they have the typings right here. So now moving on into our pathing tips and tricks, our pathing guidance, whatever you want to call it. The first tricky fight that we come across is DB Saga, right? This is a new fight we'll be running into, so we're gonna have to experiment a little bit, but I do think we have to kill that blue Bulma before turn 2, since she will cancel all of your buff effects, and then maybe the launch or the green DKP, because they both have, debuffs as well, right? Next, we have this Cooler's Revenge stage. You want to kill the Salza first because he does boost like a singular cooler unit pretty significantly, and then you want to kill the purple cooler / yellow Goku last, right? The yellow Goku, he does heal upon getting hit and stuff like that, plus getting a little buffs here and there, and then the purple cooler, he buffs sagas from the movies upon getting hit. So either of those, I would say both of those deserve to go in the 5th and 6th slot. Alright, so next we have this yellow-blue stage. You want to kill that Nappa first because of those debuffs, and then you probably want to target that yellow hit last. Another good mentions here is that this Krillin will Solar Flare you. Nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Just be aware that this blue TN does hit hard. If you can, you kind of do want to kill the Jiren before he transforms, because once he does transform, he's going to be able to like mitigate, like he has that green card mechanic, right? If you have a strike-based team, he does transform, I believe, at the end of turn 2. Next, we have the Cell Saga stage. Kill the yellow support cell first, and then yellow 16 last, or after the cells are dead because of his android death buffs. Do remember that purple Gohan has a buff against regeneration. Next, we have the Gendroids. This one's going to be a little bit difficult because of the double tag units right here, right? But I do suggest killing Birder and Jace first to avoid their cover change, because once it does activate, they will debuff your entire team. Next, we have this Gohan stage, and we have fought this before. Biggest threat here is still Beast Gohan. Just kill Beast Gohan and you'll be good. Next, we have this Green Gogeta stage. That is the main threat. Kill him before turn 3 because he will stun you and super you. Next, we have this Namek Saga stage. Kill the yellow Frieza first and then the LF Goku. Next is God Key. Kill Green Mai before her stun at the end of turn 2 and try to kill the Red Zamasu last, since he will debuff you to hell and back. Then we have this Broly stage. You want to try and kill that purple Broly on turn 1 so you can avoid his stun on turn 2, but that's pretty much it here. And as for your last fight, I do think this is going to be your best bet right here. I mean, we can take a look at some of the other fights, but this fight, there's no stuns, no supers, and only the 2 ultras. If we look at the superhero fight, that red pan is an issue. The red pan combination with Beast Gohan is an issue. It's so bad, right? Because that pan's going to be debuffing the damage that you can inflict. She's going to be buffing that Beast Gohan and the Piccolo or whatever, any of the Gohans right there, right? Magenta, you have to kill him at the end. The Gammas do, like, everyone is amazing here, right? They all have impeccable, like, synergy. This fight's annoying because of the Go Frieza, right? The Go Frieza, that purple Jiren's going to be able to stun you. The red Zamasu, if you kill him first, you're going to get debuffed, right? It just looks annoying to deal with. And then this fight has 4 ultras. I think that's enough said there. And then lastly, it's crazy because this fight is sprinkled into the, I noticed when I was making my pathing, this fight shows up multiple times in the regular path, right? Not just as a boss battle. I'm never going to recommend going against it. I'm never going to want to fight this stage. I'm not fighting 6 tag units. Alright, so now moving into our top teams, we have girls. So if we look at the girls tag overall, I'm just going to go ahead and say that all these units are Z and S tier. Like literally all of them. You can bring 8 units in here. All 8 of your units are going to be Z or S. Straight up. I think the biggest thing with this team is that almost all of your units are buffing allied girls, right? You take a look at Rosie, she's buffing allied girls. You take a look at this this Chi-Chi right here, buffing allied girls. This purple Mai, who can be a replacement for the 1000-day Bulma, buffs the entire board. Doesn't even have to be girls, right? And even this blue Zanga, buffing allied episode sagas from the movies or girls. The biggest things here that I would probably change is I don't really like the red Mai. I feel like the red Mai is not that good, low-key. I mean, she's Z tier. That's why she's here, right? But she doesn't buff her allies, right? I mean, she wants to be on a girls team, but she's just buffing herself, and she also buffs another, if there's a Trunks character, which there isn't another Trunks character, so I would swap her out for a healer, like Blue Kale, maybe, and then even that, this yellow Ribrianne, she's a little bit greedy, even though she's a support type. That's weird, huh? She's a support type, but she does not buff girls. She buffs herself if there's other girls there. So maybe you can swap her out with this yellow 18 who's going to be healing and stuff like that. It's up to you. I think you do have to play a little bit conservative with this team, though. Alright, so next we have Universe Reps, right? Similar to the girls team, you can replace one of the blue units with EX-based Kale for heals, which is what you see right here. I do like this blue Kale a lot because of those heals, or even the yellow ToP 18. On that note, I do think that the EX Berserk Kale is better than the Champa overall. Green Despo and Yellow Topo, they do have amazing synergy. Obviously, I broke that synergy right here because remember, you can run C tier units here, like this Go Frieza. I like this Go Frieza a lot. I think he's an amazing addition to Universe Reps and stuff like that. You can put on Evo Ken instead of one of these green units. And presumably, the best unit in the entirety of ToP, I believe you should just straight up run Yellow Golden Frieza. Why? Because he has 2 super attacks that he uses, and one of them turns into ultimate arts, and that's every single fight. At the start of battle, 100% to special move gauge, boom, he's going to go in and pop that. And then at the start of the 4th turn, 100% to special move gauge, upgraded to special move arts. There's no reason for you to not run that Golden Frieza unless you're going for rank 1. Another thing that I do want to point out is that one of you guys actually brought it up, because I used to always say that I like Bergamo better than Vados, but someone else brought up that Vados is actually the better pick because of all her debuffs, to which I think that's a valid argument, right? You inflict enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage, receive for 2 turns and stuff like that, but I just wish it was all enemies, right? I think that's the only thing here, whereas Bergamo, he's more greedy, I would say. He has a lot of stuff where he's going to be increasing his special move gauge. There's 10% right there. There's 20% right there. It's gauge rate, though. It's not just straight up to gauge, but I still think it comes down to preference a little bit. Alright, so next we're going to talk about hybrids, right? So I am actually surprised to see so many hybrids on the leaderboard this season, but straight up, both of these green trunks kind of suck right here on the right-hand side, so I don't care if you replace them. The only reason why they are here is because they're Z tier. That's literally it. Personally, I would swap one of them out at least to bring in S tier green Namek Goku. I mean, he's not a hybrid Saiyan, right? But he's still Sun family. A lot of these hybrid Saiyans include Gohan, right? And so you are gonna get like a Sun family buff anyways. But he does have a heal, right? At the start of the second turn, allies in range restores health by 5%. I think that's pretty good. We do have Goten also in S tier. He's amazing since he gets 100% to his super every fight on turn 2. But the most important takeaway here is that there are 2 C tier units, right? 2 C tier units in play here. This guy's rank 34. Rank 34 is a big deal. Alright, so Beast, Gohan, and Pan are a dangerous combination right here. She's like debuffing the damage inflicted by the enemies, debuffs just in general. She has a strike cover change that is health gated, which sucks, but she's also like giving damage inflicted for allies. She's also giving extra damage inflicted to Gohan, giving extra special move gauge charge rate for Gohan, and she has a good range too. Like, look, if I'm clicking on her, she's buffing all 3 of those, and they're also getting the Gohan buffs because there's 3 Gohans right there. Alright, for the next team we're going to go ahead and be talking about is LOE. And I'm only making a couple changes here, realistically. Right here, I'm swapping free-to-play Metal Cooler for the Revival Frieza. Why? The Revival Frieza. Board-wide debuffs, first of all, right? Most importantly is that he's a healer. Right, at the end of the turn, ally tag, Frieza Force, Lineage of Evil restores health by 2%. That activates 2 times. It's also buffing them, right? So, I think for me, that's a little bit more valuable than the points. And then second of all, I'm swapping a yellow Frieza for ToP golden Frieza. I don't care what, honestly, I don't care what yellow you swap in for. Like, if you don't have this Metal Cooler, swap him out, right? If you want to use the 2 Zenkais, then, you know, I mean, it's up to you, but I do recommend bringing this guy if you have him. I don't care if he's C tier or not. This guy has 2 supers, guys. 2. Alright, so now let's talk about regeneration. And we actually have a regeneration team that we found on the leaderboard, so you can go ahead and copy their team if you want to. I am going to tell you guys right now, though, those purples that he's using are terrible, right? Like, it's just a matter of them being Z and S tier, right? Because I'm pretty sure the Demon King Piccolo is S. Yep, yeah, he is. So I'm just giving you guys a fair warning. I've never used that red Zamasu, so I don't know how good that red Zamasu is. But I do know that that Super Buu has crumbled on me. That Demon King Piccolo has crumbled on me. So just be cautious of that. Let's go ahead and walk through our team right here. We're not really going for points here. We're just making sure we get that guaranteed 1000 CC. So I mean, we are going for points, but we're not going for like rank 1, rank 100, rank 200, not even really rank 1000. We kind of like comfortably sit in the 3000 range, right? So Z tier, we do have our baby Vegeta. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you have this Metal Cooler at high stars, 6 stars even. 6 stars, we'll say that's the bare minimum. 6 stars, run him over, because I'm bringing in a yellow this season. I'm bringing in this Legends Limited Piccolo. If you guys have him at 6 stars, bring in this cooler instead. So let's move on to S tier. We have our Buhan, we have our Purple Cell. Purple Cell, he's been with us through thick and thin. I do like him a lot as a unit. If you don't want to bring him in, you have the option of this Ultimate Gohan right here. Buhan, if you don't want to bring in that Buhan, but you do have this DB Saga Piccolo Jr. 6 stars, that's going to be our bare minimum here, guys. 6 stars at least. He's pretty good too, because he is farming his special move gauge pretty significantly. Right, he's getting 3% to special move gauge on every single blast arts, and I'm pretty sure he gets like another 20% up here. Yeah, 20% in the first ability right here too. So he's getting a good amount, right? He's farming it up pretty quickly right there. We go into A tier. This is where things are gonna look a little bit whoa. Like, what are you doing here, Azdeek? Usually our first pick is this first form cell for our green unit, or lately it's been this guy, right? Because I've been liking him a lot. He's pretty tanky. This green Piccolo, that Zenkai one, but I want to try out this DKP. He's a ranged type. He's not going to feel out of place with strikes or anything like that. He does inflict debuffs, right? On the second turn, he inflicts all enemies with the attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received. I want to see how big that is, right? And on top of it too, cherry on top, 4th turn he gets 30% to his own special move gauge. That's just in that one ability alone. He's also healing himself on every blast. I think he could be pretty good here, guys. Let's give him a chance. Moving into B tier, we do have Bootangs. He's a mainstay, and we do have this Legends Limited Piccolo. Again, if you want to use that metal cooler instead, go for it. I recommend it even. If you don't have this Piccolo, you could use this. This Cell's pretty good, right? Because he does have debuffs, or you can go back into A tier and pick up the Zenkai DKP maybe. He's strike based, or this Legends Road Piccolo because he does have some good support here. And lastly, in C tier, we do have our Super Baby 2 and our Purple Piccolo. I like this guy a lot. He does provide a minuscule heal and stuff like that. He's decently tanky. And, you know, I'm just enjoying using him. We still have to get him to Friendship Rank 6, so that's the only thing I'm slacking on him with this guy. But let me know if you need any replacements for the team. Alright, last but not least, final segment, new units. Let's take a look at Gok, whatever you guys want to call him. Alright, so ToP stats. Let's go ahead and display these maximum stats. Key resource speed of 2,400, a little bit more on the mid side. Right, that can go all the way up to 2,500 though, with key restore speed, right, or with Friendship Rank 10. Alright, so he does have Sun Family, he has the blue card and stuff like that. First ability, yeah, buff against Lineage of Evil. You don't see too many, like maybe 2 to 3 Lineage of Evil fights a season. It's alright, I guess. Start a battle, 100% to damage inflicted, minus 20% to damage received, 15% to special move damage, 10% to key recovery. Key recovery issue solved right there with that 10%. At the end of the first turn, you perform a tag switch. Oh, dang, so you don't even get to choose. Like, you don't even get, like, on unfavorable hit, on attacking unfavorable element. Like, it's just straight up, like, oh, you're gonna go ahead and just tag switch. I kind of don't like that. Like, what if you're focusing down, like, a purple unit as a blue Goku, and then turn 2 comes around, and boom, you're Bardock now. That kind of sucks, right? 35% to critical rate, 15% to key recovery. Again, no key recovery issues here. 5% to special move gauge, cancels downgrades. And the second turn, you do another tag switch, 10% to damage inflicted, 10% to damage, another 10% to damage inflicted for 1 turn, and 5% to special move gauge. So there's already 10% right there. Second ability, health gated strike cover change. Not the biggest deal in the world. Everyone almost has that these days. Started the first turn, activate special action, 25% to damage inflicted, 25% to special move gauge charge rate. Before receiving a special move, awakened or ultimate arts, minus 15% to damage received. It's alright. It's alright. After receiving a special move, restores health by 10% and 100% to special move gauge. Okay, I think he's not that good. That's very situational, guys. Like, listen, like, it's very, very situational. I mean, there's going to be certain fights where he's going to have value, where you know, like, maybe like a Rose fight, for example, you know you're going to get super attacked, but how do you know the Rose is going to super attack this guy? Right? Exactly. Alright, so now let's take a look at the EX Frieza. ToP stats, maximum stats right here. Key restores speed 2,453. That's not bad, right? It's higher than the base Bardock Goku. He has the blue card, 1 ability, 10% to damage inflicted by ally tag. Frieza Force, Lineage of Evil, powerful opponent. That's a pretty wide range right there. 65% to damage, 20% to damage reduction, 10% to next damage sustained, minus 10%. At the end of the turn, own health is 50% or below, restores health by 5%, and 35% to damage inflicted. After receiving an attack, you get 5% to damage inflicted by ally tag Frieza Force, powerful opponent. So this looks like something we have to watch out for running into this guy. Right, 5% to special move gauge charge rates. I mean, he's alright. Like, he's more so of a support type unit. There's nothing on here that's like too incredible, like, oh my god, like. And last but not least, we do have the solo EX Bardock right here. Let's take a look at these maximum stats. 2,349, definitely on the lower side right here, but we have seen lower in the past. First ability, 50% to damage inflicted, 20% to blast damage inflicted, minus 15% to damage received. Buff effects, nullify attribute downgrades. Started the first turn, 30% to damage, 80, just plus 80, flat 80 to key recovery for 2 turns, 30% to special move gauge. That's big. 30% that's a good amount. And flex enemy with attribute downgrade, minus 5% to key recovery. That's also big. Start of the battle, if there is attack, Lineage of Evil, Frieza Force, or powerful opponent enemy, 30% to own special move damage, 30% to own special move gauge charge rate, and inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade, minus 10% to ki recoveries. Again, like, these guys aren't cracked out of their mind. I think the Bardock is better than the Frieza. Obviously, the tag unit's going to be better than both of the EXs. Not the best batch for ToP. With that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns related to ToP, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you guys leave a like and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!